Hello again. I'm Henry T. What a pleasure to be here. This is an exciting week for all you Lobo fans. I tell you what, the year that we've had around here and our teams not being able to practice in their own arena, having to live on the road, difficult, unique year, unprecedented year. Maybe not only for us, but for athletes all around the country. Not having one home game for either team, things are going to change a little bit. I understand. When it comes to women's basketball, when it comes to any sport, really, but some stations don't do a lot. They don't say much about the women's side at UNM, but that's okay because we have a guy that is an expert on all athletics at UNM, especially the women. Well, especially everything, but including the women, which he includes in every conversation he literally has. We're talking about the greatest fan in Lobo athletics, Fred Hultberg, who's on the Henry T team for sure. And he's with us right now and more than anxious to give us the good news regarding the women's basketball team at the University of New Mexico. And then we'll let him tell us about UNM baseball. They were home last weekend. What happened? Fred Holberg has the story. We bring him on right now. Fred, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good. I got my Lobo hat on. I have a Lobo shirt on. I'm all ready, Henry. And talk about the Lady Lobos. You're right. There's not enough talk about the Lady Lobos, and I'd be glad to talk them up a little bit. And of course, baseball too. You know me. I don't miss the Lobo baseball game. So I'm glad you called me to get on. So
You don't miss anything, Fred.
I don't. I really don't. That's probably true, really. So
Well, the women are going through a little change and a little positive change. And in front of them right now is this great big championship trophy and a top seed waiting for them in Las Vegas if they can pull off the challenge. What are we talking about?
well, I haven't really heard who is responsible. I'm just thinking that Eddie Nunes and probably President Stokes and all them were able to finalize this. But it was such a great thing to do because we haven't had a there's no team in the country that's played 15 road games like we have. 15 road games and no home games. And so for them to be able to work this out after the governor uh, uh, okayed it to play at the pit. This is just such a great thing for us. I know no fans can be there, and we all know that. But to be home, like they came home, they played Monday and beat Utah State twice on Sunday and Monday, and then they caught a plane or a bus. I don't even know what they did, but they got home Monday night and got in their beds. Next morning, they were able to eat breakfast here in town, have dinner and stuff. Work. He gave them a day off on Tuesday. Today's their first day of practice and looking at film and tape, and so they're going to be home now, and so it's really kind of cool. Some of the kids, like the Duff sisters, they've never played in the pit. They don't even know what it's like. They've seen it, but they haven't been able to play in it. Isn't that amazing, Henry? They haven't even played or practiced in it, from what I heard. They were practicing at the Davlo Center the whole time. So, I mean, it's really, really cool for this team. And one thing, Henry, that people don't realize is that, we have, I kind of wrote it down too. De La Cerda, Hurst, Anderson, Magruder, Carter, and Watts. All those girls were here last year when we were 15 and 19. And now we added the two Duff sisters who are just so great. I mean, I can't believe that. these are two of the best girls we've ever had. And to add them to this team from last year, and now we're 12-3, and we're playing for the Mountain West Championship, Henry. Is that cool though to play? I mean, it's a perfect fit that we get to play Colorado State 2 games. If we win them both, we win the championship. If we win one, then Colorado State does. But I really think we can win them both. I really do. And so it's a really exciting thing happening here. It's just too bad the fans can't come, but you know, we can watch it on streaming and be able to watch the game.
Wow. I'm going to ask you to lay it out. You've watched all their games. You know their personalities. You know their talents. What does it look like? Will they pull it off in your estimation?
I really can. I've watched Colorado State. I've watched UNLV. I've watched Fresno. Of course, we played Fresno. We split. We split with Nevada, with UNLV. So 2 out of the 4 teams that are vying for this, we've split with them. But I really think we can sweep Colorado State. Our kids we're back full force now. No one has COVID anymore. We're shooting really well. Latasha is crazy. I mean, it's amazing, Henry. I know you and I have talked about this, how Latasha, 4 out of the last 6 games, Henry, she's made 6 threes in the games. She's averaging 25 points a game right now. I mean, it's crazy. It's just unbelievable how these girls are shooting, how they're playing. And what makes this team really special over probably any team that we ever had, Henry, is that the one thing we've always been missing for many, many years is we never had anybody driving to the basket. We always had girls that could shoot the ball and maybe shoot the 10 footer, but we didn't have anybody driving the basket. We had all of our opponents that were driving to the basket, but now we have that. I mean, everybody can drive to the basket and everybody can make 3-pointers out of the top 5 people that we have. And so it's kind of exciting that a team doesn't know what to do with us. They have no idea how to guard us. Let us shoot the threes, we're going to put them in. Let us drive, then they're going to pack it in down low. Our only problem probably for this team to win this game, these 2 games against Colorado State, are going to be if Magruder and Anderson get in foul trouble, because that's been our only big nemesis this whole year, Henry, is when we get in foul trouble and those 2 come out. Watts has improved, and she's the reserve that comes in for them, but she's not anything like Magruder and Anderson. Magruder's great at blocking balls and just shooting and just being a good defensive player. And then Anderson's turned out to be the best find ever. I mean, how do you have a 6'2" girl driving to the basket like she does? But she can, but she also can shoot the 3. So it's a really well-balanced team, Henry.
You know, I was hoping the governor would go a little farther and say, okay, the pit holds 15,000. Let's let 7,000 in the arena to watch the games. Man, that would have made a big difference right there, because you talked about the ladies experiencing the pit, or those who have not. 7,000 Lobo fans screaming for the Lobo women would make a huge difference, or at least it would help the women considerably.
Well, you know the thing is that, I mean, even 2,000, Henry, you don't have to do 7,000, even 2,000. BYU, I keep up with that because I know one of the stars up on the BYU women's team. And they're they just started doing this last week, but they let 2,000 fans in, and that holds almost 20,000 people. And you should have heard the players after the game was over. they couldn't believe how loud the 2,000 fans were. It just meant so much. It really would. It really did, and it is a shame because they let the fans go to the baseball game, but not the basketball game. And the basketball game, you can really spread out. That thing is huge, and if you just spread everybody out. But you know what? I'm not going to complain because at least we're home, and I think being home is going to make it really nice for us. Let Colorado State travel. Colorado State is undefeated at home. They're 9-0, but they aren't on the road, so it makes it a little tougher for them on the road. So, and I'm just happy as heck that we get to play at home. I'm just for the girls' sake, and then also, one thing they're going to be able to do is they're going to have senior night Thursday too. It's either going to be Thursday or Friday. I thought it was going to be Thursday, but I'm not sure. But that's kind of special too. They can actually have it here in town, and so that's a pretty special thing too. And Colorado State is good. There's no doubt about it. They wouldn't be winning the Mountain West Conference if they weren't. But I really do think that we have the manpower to win the whole thing and win them both. And so what a great chance, though. Isn't it cool that things turn out that way? The last two games, it means so much to the girls.
Well, the governor garnered a lot of respect at the end of the season, and there's a lot of gratitude out there. And thank you, Governor, for allowing this event to happen. And then if they succeed, your outlook for next week at the Mountain West tournament in Las Vegas.
Well, one thing is we'll get a bye. The way they're working out, they don't have the brackets up yet for the women. The men, they have something up for them, but the women, they don't. But what they're going to do is the 4 bottom teams play on Sunday, and then, like I said, they haven't set that up exactly yet because there's some games to be played still. But and then what we do is we'll play on Monday. We'll play on Monday, and then there's not a team. We've already proven there's not a team we can't beat, except we haven't played Colorado State, but we've played all the other teams and we have beat them, Henry. So that's what's nice. The girls know we can win. The only bad game that we really kind of played this year was that second game against Fresno when we beat them the first game, and then it was only a 4-point game or something like that going into the last quarter, and then they kind of blew us out. But otherwise, really, we've been in every game. We don't get blown out by anybody, and we can always come back. The one thing we've kind of done that we don't want to do is you don't want to start out bad, and probably more games than not, we probably have started out bad and we have to come back. We're down 10 points, 12 points, and we have to come back, and you don't want to do that. You want to start out good. And so, I think just the girls have to just play hard defense. And I'm just happy that Hearst is back now too, because that's a game we lost to Air Force. And of course, if you remember, Henry, a lot of people were downgrading Air Force and us losing the Air Force. How could you lose to that terrible team Air Force? And then 2 days ago, Air Force beats Colorado State, which really made it nice because now we know if we win 2 games, we win the conference championship. There's no doubt about it. You don't have to do percentage points or anything. So Air Force has proved to be a good team. I kind of hope that we're not on the bracket with Air Force side when we make it to Las Vegas. And they right now we aren't allowing any fans in at all in Vegas, but I noticed that I think the WAC and the WCC, I know the WCC, I'm not sure about the WAC, but the WAC's letting some people in. The WCC they're letting some of the families come in and their number in it, but there are going to be some people that go there. So I don't know what's going to happen in Vegas, but we just have such a great team. And you know what's so strong about this team, Henry? In most Lobo teams that we've had in the past, quite a few years, we've had one or two real star players that score, 25, 30 points. Well, if I'm not mistaken, I can look at Duff scored close to 30 points. De La Cerda has, Hurst has, Anderson has. And so, I mean, there's four girls, and then the other Duff girl could too. So there's really five girls that can, ladies that could score 20 or 25 or 30 points. And that's real important, I think, that you don't have one star where you can double that person up. They can't do that with the Lobos. You gotta go man on man mostly, or do zone against the Lobos, because we have such good players and such good shooters.
A lot of people aren't able to figure out the computer or don't even own a computer, but they're Lady Lobo fans. They don't even seen them. They don't know their characteristics. They don't know their style of play. Fill us in on the way they play the game.
Well, the Lobos, what's amazing, Henry, is, and I don't know if this is exactly true as of today, I didn't check, but as of a couple of days ago, it's really cool that we average 85 points a game. We are up and down that court. It's so much fun to watch. When we played the Flanagan's teams, he really didn't like that crazy wild guard. He wanted that Nikki Hercroft, where she was very deliberate, and the Montgomery girl, and the girls that take their time bringing the ball down and setting it up. And that this team is just so much fun to watch. They're just so good at passing the ball, and what's really neat too is these girls have smiles on their faces too. They're having fun, and I know Bradbury said that he wants them to have fun, to play hard, and for these girls to be on the road for every game, and to be so good at doing that, Henry. But this is just, I mean, I just wish everybody would get on their computers like I do and watch the games, because you'd be amazed. And I tell you, we can just show people how this team scores and how fast they score. And we don't have any big girls really starting. We have just 6'1" girls, which, they're tall, but they're going against 6'3" and 6'4" girls. And that's how we get in foul trouble, though. Magruder and Anderson does. But it's just a fun group of ladies that have fun and smile and are willing to play hard. They're diving on the floors. I mean, it's just amazing to watch these girls, how hard they dive and really hustle and get balls that the other team should have gotten, but we got them because we had more hustle with our team.
And bravo, and a great big pat on the back to Coach Mike Bradbury, who's taken his team on the road exclusively for everything. And for him to accomplish what he has and his players have, what do you think about the job of Mike Bradbury?
Well, he's done a great job. He really has. I mean, you got to remember, he's got a couple kids and a wife and a dog, and he hadn't seen his dog, probably his wife and kids, for what was it, about 80 days, I think it was, something like that, and it's just like the kids, the ladies on the team. I mean, people don't realize, I know we've talked about it with the men, and they have had the same problem, but it's got to be awful when, like me, I got two dogs. I go out of town for a week or 10 days, and man, I go crazy. I miss my dogs, and it's really important to come home and see them. And the same would be with your wife and your kids. You miss your kids, and for these people to have to eat, like they bring the meals a lot of times to your door, and then you take the food and you take it and put it in your at your hotel in your room, and that's all you do is you eat and you watch TV, and you maybe, if you get a chance to practice, you don't even get a chance to practice sometimes. When we were in Texas, they had the girls team, they had the boys team, and they had the volleyball team. So we had to find room to play in between that time, which was almost impossible. So Bradbury's done a tremendous job. I got to praise him.
Coach of the year in the Mountain West.
Well, I think so. I mean, I think we were picked 7th, I think, Henry, for this year. And you know what I'm interested in, and I don't know what's going to happen, but you know, I think probably we'll have at least one girl, like probably Dave Serter or Duff, will probably make first team, and I was hoping maybe a couple of them make first team. They've already announced. I think I told you the WC has, but I think we have to wait for the season to finish, and then we'll see who makes first team honors and stuff like that. But we're going to surprise people. Yeah, because we were picked seventh, and so
Great
that's
report, Fred. Great report. Now we're going to take you across the street and talk about Coach Birmingham's baseball team. Give us a 10-minute rundown.
well. I went to those games. What was really cool is that they let us go to the games, and you had to do it online. And it only took like about a day and a half at the most to sell out the first day, Saturday's doubleheader. And then a lot of people that went to the game were trying to buy tickets for Sunday, but they were already sold out too. And for some reason, they sold more on Saturday than on Sunday. So maybe they just figured that possibly there was more seats than we thought. But they sold close to 750 on Sunday and 650 on Saturday. But this team is it's just like Birmingham said. You know, we have good pitching. We had two really good pitching performances. And what was really kind of cool too is when you have local kids too, like the lively kid from Cruces. He pitched a 4-hitter over 6 innings, and his fastball was clocked at 96 miles an hour, Henry. Can you imagine? And I was standing by the person that the Lobo person that takes care of the stats, and he had plenty of 95 and 94 mile an hour pitches also. I only saw 196, but I saw a lot of 95 and 94 pitches, and so our pitching and our hitting, you know, we have a lot of new hitters now. Castillo is probably now he's not new. He played last year, but of course he only played 18 games. But this guy is unbelievable hitting the ball, and Martin's new here, and he's just been ripping the ball. I mean, it's these guys are just hitting the ball and running. We have speed, and we have pretty much everything, Henry. Castillo made a catch that looked like it was a home run. I finally saw it on TV because I was at the game, and we really thought that it was a home run, but he did rob this guy from God, I forgot who we played now, Air Force. We did rob him of a home run, and we have power too. We have the Fullerton guy from Australia, you know, and he's got power, and we just have a little bit of everything. You know, we have a lot of guys that hit the ball, and we're not even using probably our best hitter of last year, Landers. And I don't really know what the deal is with Landers, but he was on the first team All Mountain West last year, and he hurt himself. And I'm not sure when he's coming back or if he's coming back, but if we can get him back too. But the main thing with the Lobo baseball team every year has always been pitching. And I think that pitching is going to really carry us because we're gonna win some games. We're gonna score runs. This is going to be a team that's going to score probably 8 to 10 runs a game, probably because they have such good hitting. Now, maybe when we play, you know, Oregon State, that might be a different story because, you know, we did lose to them twice, but that's a team that's been the NCAA and won the NCAA tournament twice out of probably the last 10 years. You know, the one thing we're doing is on the schedule. I don't know how much time I have. I have about 6 minutes.
Do you think that this Lobo baseball team is a serious contender to get to the regional?
I really do. And I think we just got to wait for this pitching to see if somebody gets hurt or whether because I'll tell you the one thing we did do that, God, I was a little scary is we had 2 of our starters both pitch 100 pitches. And, you know, the weather wasn't great. It was like, you know, I mean, especially the second game when it was like about 40 some degrees, but Lively pitched 100 pitches and then Sunday it was 100 pitches. And so, you know, when you pitch 100 pitches, it's basically going to be the pitching, Henry, and we'll find that out. And if we can stay proven where we don't get hurt and our players just continue to hit and we do everything. We can bunt, we can hit and run, we can steal bases, we can do pretty much everything. And defensively, I think we're going to hold this team together.
Okay. The renovated stadium, 3,000 seats now. They still have that tiny little press box, but they let fans in there, 600 plus. What was it like being in the new renovated stadium?
You know, I felt so cool. Everybody there, when you got that 750 people and they spreaded everybody out, it looked like 1,500 people, Henry. It really did. It was so impressive to see this. And we don't have it all yet, but we finally have a college baseball stadium now that holds 3,000 people. And then we got to put the press box in. The thing that's holding up the press box right now probably is obviously money because, you know, we have to put an elevator into the press box. And I think they're thinking about maybe putting a bathroom possibly in there too. And those are the two costly things that'll cause it. But I mean, it is so neat to see the way just the way it is. I mean, they designed it really cool because they put it above the backstop. So you're sitting behind the visiting team and the home team. And so it's pretty cool. And then they have 1,000 chairback seats. And I think eventually they want to put some more chairbacks somehow, but right now they can't do it now. But it really is improved. And then the infield too, Henry. I think you saw that the infield's kind of neat now. They put a black color that's supposed to be dirt, and it blended in with the grass so much better than the brownish color they had, the goldish brown color they had in the past. So it's I mean, people are real impressed. It's going to be maybe tough getting tickets if we can continue winning now. I just hope we can, you know, we played three road series in a row, and that's going to put some pressure on us because of traveling and going to these places to play the game. So it's going to be tough for the Lobos to, that's going to hurt us a little bit having to travel to all our games. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I only asked you a few questions today. You've become the finest sports reporter in New Mexico just because of the love of the game, and you love the game.
Well, I do, and I want to give all the men and women for the Lobos. I want to give them credit, you know, and I just think it's so important to show what we've gone through more than any other college in the United States, what they've gone through for football and, you know, and baseball, we lucked out. We didn't have to go on the road because we always go on the road to Arizona.
Fred, 30 seconds left. Give us a concluding, hard-hitting statement.
Well, the Lady Lobos are going to win 2 games, Thursday and Friday, and we're going to be the Mountain West Championship women's basketball team. And I hope everybody in the country finds out that we had to play all our games on the road till our last 2, and we won the championship. That's my thing. I think that's what we're going to do.
Wow, Fred.
How's that?
Excellent report, buddy. You got all the gear on today.
I do. Here's my Lobo hat. Pretty cool. I've had this hat. This is my favorite hat. I try to wear it until it falls apart, and it's done a pretty good job. We've been having some good winning teams in Lobo sports, and it's worked. So.
And nobody knows this phrase better than Henry T. But Fred, you got your game face on all the time.
I kind of do. Yeah, I do. I always have a smile. That's why I like the Lobos. They all have smiles. Those girls, they're having fun, Henry, and I'm having fun. You know that, just
Hey,
like you do. Look what you've been doing your whole life, having fun.
God bless you. Thank you for an excellent report on the Lady Lobos and the baseball team at UNM. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, Henry, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna close out and get out of here and let you continue. So,
All
see you
right.
later, bud. Okay, bye.
That's the one and only Fred Hultberg, the #1 sports fan for Lobo Athletics. It doesn't matter what sport we're talking about, what time of year, Fred's got a ticket to the game, more so than any sports fan at UNM in the history of the school. Now, on Wednesday, and let's go to our sponsors real quick and just give some praise to Pierre Amistoy Drywall, for his help. Great baseball player back in the day. We got Rax, we got Richie uh, out there helping us. Richie Tabbitt at Rex Lumber Company. And of course, we got the canteen. They feed all APS students every day. The Hydro Bar with Tim Baca and Julie Baca and their whole family. They work it. Wow, delicious water, no question about it. And Ben Lucero at Indigo Mortgage. Wow, what a good man. And I'll tell you, he tells you straight up, you find a better deal, go do it, because you will not find a better deal than what Ben Lucero will give you at Indigo Mortgage. It's Wednesday. That means we go to an encore, which means a rerun. And today, my buddy Chito Reyes, great Aggie basketball player back in the day, he talks to his teammate, Charlie Criss. Both of them were all league when they played. Charlie Criss was an All American, played in the NBA. What a story. They went to the Final-4. And today, Chito interviews his teammate, Charlie Criss. Let's see that. That's going to be inspirational, I'm sure. And today we're talking to the whole world. Man, I have a photograph of Henry T. Remember, they used to have the globe in the classroom, and you have it in your arms. You could say, got the whole world in his hands. That was Henry T. Because I love geography. And today, all over the world, they can see this show on the Henry T. GameFace Live. We were supposed to have a doubleheader of two great local stars, basketball stars, who were amazing on the high school level here in Albuquerque. And we're down to one because one, Greg Brown, is over at Albuquerque High. We had a little bit of stumble with the Zoom connection. I don't know. Jimmy knows. But so Greg had to get to class. The bell rang. Greg went to class. So we're down to one superstar today. I love doing this show. The other day, Monday, we had the COVID get in the way. They had to spray everything here. And they do marvelous work here at the Hydro Bar. And we invite you to come out here and get some fresh, delicious water. As clean as water can get. You can get it here at the Hydro Bar at 7400 Montgomery Northeast. And just look for the Hydro Bar, pull in the little shopping center. And here we are. If you want to come down and meet our superstar guest, come down and he'll write you a couple autographs. Take a photo with you as well. Now I've got you really curious about who we have today, right? Well, this young man, I'll never forget his games at Rio Grande High School. He played for Ron Garcia. And his senior year and junior year too, it was like the same version of the same great star. 25, 30 points, winning games on last second shots. Wow, what a player. Yeah, remember Harvey Hale? Do you remember Harvey Hale, the player that he was? My goodness. I could hardly wait to get over to Rio's gym because I knew I was going to do Harvey Hale's games. And he went from Rio Grande High School all the way to the ACC and playing with Wake Forest. Remember? Chris Paul left, and here comes Harvey Hale. Wow. I know that story like the back of my hand. And his dad was a preacher. Mom was right there next to him in the church, administrating all the business of the church. A great couple. But we have Harvey in here today. He's ready to go. The screen you might have read Greg Brown, but he will have him on tomorrow and the following day. But let's get on with Greg Brown right now. And I've got the butterflies, Greg. Harvey.
Yes, sir.
Harvey, I'm nervous for this interview.
Me too.
Because you're big time.
I'm nervous as well, sir.
You've been to the big time. How are you, man?
I'm pretty good. I'm great to be here. I'm just so blessed to be in your midst. You're making me reminisce about the times when I was in high school. It's just been a blessing. And I've known you for a long time. Like you said, you came to my banquet when I was a senior. So it's just a blessing where God has brought us from. And you're still doing the same thing, touching people's lives, student athletes' lives. And I'm just glad to be a part of this.
Well, after that a little bit, I totally disappeared. I put my career on the shelf.
Yes, sir.
Now this is Henry T's comeback. So look out. Now they brought me back like the guy says, I keep trying to leave, and they keep pulling me back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's me.
Well, we love you. We love you, and I told him you're like my Dick Vitale. You really mean that much to the game to me, especially in Albuquerque, and especially for the state of New Mexico. Why should I say just Albuquerque? You do big-time games all around the state, boys and girls, 5A, 4A, 3A. I don't know if they have a 6A here, but I know you've been doing all levels, and we love you, and I'm glad to do this interview. Yes, sir.
Wow, well, I'm thrilled. And, I'm so fired up about my comeback that, man, I tell the audience every time I come in here, my greatest days are in front of me. And you know what? That's not being egotistical. That's written in stone.
Yes, sir.
I pray for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And God's blessing me by improving me every day, and I'm looking at the big goals.
Well, you still look young.
Thank you, man.
You looking good. You got your hair, looking good still.
And I'm running every day.
Okay, all right.
I'm serious, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm up to 5 mailboxes now.
Wow.
I run every morning.
Okay, all right.
See, that joke went right over your head, bro.
No, I looked at him. He did exactly. I was like, wow. But I didn't want to, make you look bad.
That's Jimmy Tran, D1 Jimmy Tran, I call him. Running star, Cal Irvine. Mm-hmm. He built robots to build robots.
Yes, sir.
Built robots to put rockets in space. He's the rocket man, So you get to meet Jimmy Tran, too. Harvey, Wake Forest. No, let's talk about Ron Garcia and the troops down at Rio first. The experience. And a little preface, if you don't mind, on how you got to Rio Grande High School.
Well, before the show, I kind of gave you a little rundown. But my mom actually, she has a brother, and he was a pastor. He had built his own church in Amarillo, Texas. A lot of people don't know my dad actually went to West Texas State, leaving Shasta College as a junior college player. My mom was actually a volleyball player and a track runner. And she met my dad in college in Canyon, Texas, outside of Amarillo. My mom was born in Amarillo. Dad was born in Detroit, Michigan. He met my mother in college, and she got saved. they call it. She ended up getting saved, and my dad said, "What is saved?" And she said, "Well, I gave my life to God." And he says, "Well, I go to church with you." She said, "No, I completely gave my life to God. I don't do this anymore. I don't go out anymore. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't want to do anything. I just want to go to church and live for God. I'm attracted to men of God now." So that's what she told my father. He ended up quitting basketball. He ended up leaving his junior year, dropped out and followed God. He's been a pastor for the last, I say, 5 years now at his own church in Converse, Texas. It's a church called Found and Praise. They've been married for 38 years now. He's been chasing God ever since. But that's their story. But my mom, her brother, started a church in Albuquerque from Amarillo. We moved from there and ended up going to a church called God's House Church. After that, he ended up moving. But I met a guy by the name of Ron Garcia when I got held back as an 8th grader. A lot of people were tripping out. He seen me when I was trying to work out with Kenny Thomas. I was with my dad. My dad used to play with guys around the city. So we played with Kenny Thomas that day. Garcia sees me. That next year I was a freshman at Rio Grande, and I was playing varsity. That's what I remember. I was living off of Wyoming Paseo. We moved to the district. A lot of people gave me a lot of hypocrisy and a lot of grief about getting held back by the time I was a sophomore, junior. That's the story. I ended up getting seen from a guy by the name of Rodney Belcher. He was he knew he knew my father, but he knew a guy by the name of Tony Benford, a guy, if you guys don't remember, but Tony Benford, coach.
Connecting.
Yeah, I'm showing you connecting the dots. But Dave Bliss knew Tony Benford. I played AAU ball with Dave Bliss's son when I was playing with a guy by the name of Henry Saavedra. It's just connected. Tony Benford knew Coach Belcher. Look out for Hale.
Especially and you see these guys on TV and these games and the Final-4 and things like that. It really makes you feel good to know that that you will.
You know, I pretty much know a lot about Charlie that I don't want to mention. You know, but
Right, that's
Charlie,
right.
No, I just, you know, I just worry about, you know, one thing about it, Henry, is that, you know, all of us, I see Charlie, I see him right now. He looks pretty healthy. He looks fine. And I worry about their health, you know, how they're doing. That's sometimes because now we get older. But I tell you what, Henry, before when we were younger, we used to complain about a sprained ankle or a sprained finger, right, or something like that. Now we worry about a hip replacement and knee replacement and all that stuff as we get older. You know? But right, we worry about each other, Henry. And I see Charlie, and it just goes to show how strong a bond we've all had. And I think that was one of the things that made us special, is that right, we all cared about each other. And to this day, I see Charlie, man, and I like, the bond gets even stronger. I want him to be well. I want Jimmy to be well. I want him to be well. But that's the most important thing about it now, Henry. We're at that level now that we're all blessed to have been part of each other, and that's the most important thing right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Charlie, your games against the Lobos, in the pit or in the Pan American Center, what do you recall most?
Oh, playing against them. Anytime he played against New Mexico, it was a job, and they had Petey Gibson and guys like that who were small that I had to guard. They had to guard me, and it was tough. It was a tough thing, but you know, we usually came out on top because we had the better team and played more together than other teams.
How about the night that Petey Gibson hit that winning jump shot in the last second of the game? And you were real close by him. He got up higher than you on that one play and won the game. When you think of that moment, That's how close that rivalry was. What comes to
He
mind
got
when
lucky.
Petey hit that shot?
He got lucky. He got lucky. It happens, you know. People are gonna do things like that, and you just have to deal with it.
Hey, but you had your fun too against the
Oh, yeah, I
Lobos.
did.
You had some big
Yeah.
games against UNM.
Right. Yes. Really big games.
You know, on the floor, in the fire. Describe Lou Henson in the huddle, how he was at practice, how he developed your team.
Well, he was a very determined type of guy who wanted to get the most out of all his players, whether it be at practice or during the games, because he taught us that if you play hard in practice, you'll play hard in the games, because what you do in practice, you take it over to the game. So you wanted to do good in practice and play hard and get the most out of the practice.
Wow. And you know, you were a starter. You had to
Right.
come off the bench, but man, you were a starter most of those 10 years in the NBA. Who were some of the great players alongside you during that NBA era?
Well, you had Kareem and Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, Gus Williams, Dennis Johnson. You had Kevin McHale. So I played against the best. Tiny Archibald, all those guys. Played against the best guys.
How about playing the Celtics and Larry Bird?
Oh, it was tough. It was fun though. I mean, they were the epitome of what the good teams were about. The Boston and the Lakers. You go in there and you play good against those teams and beat those teams. You had something to be proud of.
Wow. You know, I know you're busy out there on the golf course today, Charlie. It's such an honor to have you and Chito with us today.
Thank you.
A lot of Aggie fans have found out about this creation of Going Back in Time on the Henry T. Show. We're interviewing all you great Aggies. What do you say to Aggie Nation today as they listen and watch you on television today? What's your message out of your heart?
To work hard. Don't give up on whatever dreams and goals you have. You got to work hard and stay with it, because there'll be a lot of people trying to discourage you to do other things, and you have to have the discipline to stay on top and do what's necessary to achieve goals.
Amen. Your arena used to rock. It was full when you played.
Yes.
And Aggie fans have been described as the most boisterous, most energetic, most vocal, and some of their phrases cannot be repeated on TV, but you know what I
Right.
mean. That was a
Yes.
rough environment for the opponent, was
Yes.
it not?
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was tough. But all of it was tough. Even University of Mexico, the Snake Pit, it was called the Snake Pit. And when you go in there and you come out with a win there, you know you've played well.
Wow. Well, how good is your golf game today? Scratch?
It's pretty good. Yeah, I'm scratch. Yes, I'm a scratch player.
Wow. Chito, give me one last question for the great point guard, Charlie Criss. How great was he, Chito? You saw great ones around the country. You watch Charlie every day.
Yeah, you know what Charlie said a little while ago is so true about the practice and about the working hard and about having your dreams. And I mean, if anybody accomplished that is my partner there, Charlie. But then you can say that about Jimmy. You can say that about Sam. You can say about everybody. But Coach Henson brought that out in us. But Henry, the practices you should have seen. And you can ask Charlie. We used to have crowds go watch us practice.
Right.
Not necessarily the game, but we used to have people try to go watch our practices because they knew it was going to be intense and something to watch. And I'm proud to be part of these guys. Like I said, I see Charlie now, and I'm proud that he was my teammate. I was his teammate, and we're all still alive, to be able to say hello to each other.
Amen.
Thanks, Henry, for giving us that opportunity.
Wow.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Hey, Charlie, describe your team the night against UCLA, and I know that Big Sam got hurt early in the game. Had he not gotten injured in that game, what would have been the outcome?
I think we would have won because before we even got there, the team that everybody picked to beat them was us. And they said if we couldn't beat them, that nobody else was going to beat them. Jacksonville wasn't going to beat them. If they played the St. Bonaventure, they weren't going. Nobody was going to beat them. If we didn't beat them, that was the main thing of what people said.
All right, 2 questions about the players. Sam Lacey, describe him. Describe Jimmy Collins for us, Charlie.
Sam was a joker. Sam always teased people and get on people's nerves and make people mad. And once Sam knew that you were getting upset, then he'd do it more. He just stayed on people. But when it came game time, Sam was always ready.
And Jimmy?
Jimmy was the consummate pro player. I mean, he could dribble behind his back, between his legs. He scored. He was a scorer. He had a lot of savvy with his game. He wasn't that quick, but he was quick enough to make good moves and get on people's nerves and score.
Wow. And last but not least, we did it early on. Describe the leader in jump shots, character, academics, your buddy Chito Reyes. Describe him for us.
We needed Chito to be there for us, and he always was. Chito was that he was very quiet. He didn't say much of anything. He was kind of quiet. He was like a silent assassin. And once you leave him, once he got going, and then and people start running at him, he had the savvy enough to pump fake, get underneath, and do the same thing to him they did if they was in his face. So he was a smart player, not only in the classroom, but he was smart on the court.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Charlie.
Well, we'll wrap it up.
I got you.
You can go back to work, Charlie, but what a blessing for all of us to have you back in New Mexico via television, via the Zoom. You know, that reminds me, the get-together you guys had last summer at the Pan Am Center back in Las Cruces. What was that like for you to reunite?
It was fun. It was fun to see all the guys again and go out and eat together and go to the game. It was a lot of fun.
Well, that's going to do. We've asked you every question imaginable. Charlie, do you have a final statement? Excuse me, Chito, do you have a final statement?
No, I just want to say thank you, Henry. Yeah, you always bring out a good opportunity for all of us to get together and chat with each other. And like I said, it's so nice to see Charlie, and I see he's well, and that's all we ask for. All our brothers to be healthy now and in our age and have a good life. That's what we're worked hard for.
Charlie,
to be here.
Charlie, one-on-one in the Pan Am, brand new shoes on you, brand new ball. You're shooting at the North Basket in the Pan Am. You versus Chito Reyes in a game to 20. Who wins, Charlie?
No contest.
No contest. That's right.
No contest because we wouldn't play.
Chito, what's your answer?
Yeah. That's right. Charlie was smart, dude. He would get on your nerves and throw you out of your game. That's what he would.
Charlie Criss, God bless you. Thank you once again. Chito Reyes, thank you again
and
for
Tito,
being.
Don't forget my tortillas, Tito.
I'll tell my mom, man. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
What kind of food did he request?
Some tortillas. His mom makes the best tortillas.
Wow. We'll get back to hitting that little white ball, and we'll talk to you again, Charlie. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Take care.
All
and
right,
Chito Reyes, thank you very much. We'll see you guys another day.
All right.
You got it, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, Chito.
Right.
All right.
You got it.
Well, we're going to get situated, and we're going to have on a championship fighter right here from New Mexico. Oh, man. Ray Sanchez III. I mean, this guy could fight. We saw him in the amateur ranks where he was so quick, so powerful. He would hit you because he was so quick. Boom, boom, boom. And with combinations, he had the knockout punch too. Very young man, came through the amateur ranks quickly. We all knew his name. He was all over the local television, sports shows, in the newspaper regularly. Charlie Criss, one of the greatest, not only in New Mexico, throughout the country. Played for the Atlanta Braves, played for other NBA teams. Quick, ball handler. Man, I'm telling you, he could dish the ball. He could shoot it. He was spectacular. But so was Chito Reyes. You know, a lot of people are still surprised why Chito didn't get one of those great opportunities to make an NBA team. Played for the Olympic team, the Mexican Olympic team. What a shooter, smooth, great defender, and nobody got down that baseline when he was guarding down low. And what a great, great assist man Chito was. Very coachable. And then the big thing about Chito, so smart, all academic, all America, and then played for the Mexican Olympic team. What a story. 1970, New Mexico State in the Final-4. But we love doing this show. And Chito, we love talking to Chito. We're going to have him on more and more as we bring back the past of New Mexico State. Basketball, football, baseball, whatever. You're going to know, Aggie Nation, that you can get those great stories and get those great players right here. That's for sure. Well, it's been a big day here, and we'll continue to move this thing forward and bring you the latest and the greatest stories as we use this. What is it called? I don't even know. I know it's the Henry T Show. That's all I need to know. But thank you to our sponsors for making this possible again. Thank you to Jimmy Tran, our producer, and Alden, the producer down at the network. And we love putting these shows on GovTV and Comcast 26 as well. So ProView, thank you to you, Steve Davis, and all the great people down there. So let's look at Emistroid Drywall. They'll create magic for you. They'll get that drywall for you. If you're building something in your yard, putting something in addition to your home, then they will make the remodel or they'll build you a home. Pierre Emistroid, great guy, versatile, great business, former great athlete in his own right. And of course, the Canteen and Kevin, Rax Lumber, Richie Tabbitt, Ben Lucero out there, Indigo Mortgage, thank you. And the Hydro Bar, Tim Baca and this family. Go out there today and get that delicious and healthy water and tell them Henry T sent you out there. Well, that's going to do it today. Thank you for being with us. We might have a surprise visit in the next few days. I know it is Monday and Wednesday, but we may have a chance between now and next Monday to get the great Michael Cooper on the air to talk about his will to be the next new University of New Mexico men's basketball coach. So whenever he's available, we may pop in by surprise in the next few days. Have a great day. I'm Henry T. See you real soon.